Great day, good people, and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button, hit that like for the YouTube algorithm, as well as ring that notification bell. That way you never miss any of my uploads. This is a new channel, so we are covering a wide range of topics. You know, we tend to lean a little bit on the conservative side and just giving a conservative viewpoint, conservative perspective from the eyes of a Black woman. And I feel that I started this channel because I feel that as Black conservatives, we do need more voices, more Black faces in this space, because we tend to get just labeled and just just get brushed over with just one stereotype. And I want to do my part to try to break that mold and try to make other Black Americans, other people in general, just aware that there are Black people who do share these views, and it's okay to have those views even if it may not align with what the majority of our community believes. So with that being said, I do want to get into today's topic, which is kind of touching on the touch on the Jordan Neely situation that just happened in New York on the subway. If you're not familiar, a homeless man named Jordan Neely, who suffered from different mental health issues. He was his life tragically ended on a New York subway a few days ago, maybe last week, and it was very tragic what happened to him. But I think that where the conversation lies, and where the conversation tends to lie in situations like this, is that especially if it's a white person who's involved in the death of a Black person, we just automatically jump to the white person is racist, the white person is horrible, and we don't take the time to look at the details of the story, to get the facts straight of a story, to really understand exactly what caused this tragic end to happen. We've seen it time and time again in our community when we have these Black Lives Matter protests. We see this over and over again whenever it's say her name, say his name. And I'm not saying every single person who has been brought to the forefront has has not been a good person, but I think just the majority of the time it's just people who don't necessarily represent the best of our community. And that tends to be a recurring problem, is that as Black people, we tend to exalt and exemplify people who represent the absolute worst in us, and we find ourselves at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to other races, as far as finances, family race, any measurable data, we tend to be at the bottom. And a lot of that, I believe, has to do with the fact that we tend to glorify people who do not represent us in a good light, and we tend to make martyrs of these people who just are not what we want for our community, right? Like, these people don't actually care about the Black community. They are a harm to the Black community, but yeah, we tend to glorify and just exalt them and turn them into these martyrs, and we fight so hard for them and we protest for them. And you don't really tend to see that with other races of people. You don't tend to see them fighting for the low lives in their society. And that's no disrespect to Jordan Neely, because he did suffer from illnesses, but I think that we just have to really take a look at what happened to Jordan Neely. What is the actual reason why this man was on that subway? Why has he been arrested over 40 times and yet he's still out on the street? Why is it a known thing that he has mental health issues, but yet he has not been involuntarily detained into a mental hospital, so that way he is not a threat to himself or to society? Why is it that he is allowed to assault people? He assaults people. He has a history of assaulting people on the subways, and no one has seemed to really do anything about that. And so we have to kind of ask ourselves, why is our first reaction to jump to racism is the problem? Just because a white man happened to be the person who was only holding his neck, there were other people who were also restraining this man, who one of them was a Black man. But why is our first instinct to always jump to a racism situation, you know, or, you know, just try to blame race or white supremacy for why something bad happens to a black person, instead of looking at the actions of that black person and trying to figure out, is it anything that that person may have done to, you know, put himself in a dangerous situation, right? So with Jordan Neely, he had been in and out of jail, arrested over 40 times. He, you know, has a history of assaulting people. The day before, allegedly, the day before his, you know, untimely death, he had tried to push somebody onto the subway tracks and was chasing people around. So why is this man allowed to just roam free, roam the streets free? And he's not the only one. There are a lot of Jordan Neelys in New York and all over this country, in these, you know, major liberal cities, that are just running rampant, and people are just supposed to put themselves at risk. So what the media would like for us to do, is what it seems like, and what Black Lives Matter and what all these protesters would like for people to do, is to know, you put yourself at risk. You make sure that you allow your life and your safety to be at risk in order to protect the person who is threatening you, in order to protect the person who is a threat to our society, in order to protect the person who is a harm to our society, who does not represent our society in the best light. You, the law-abiding citizen, you put yourself at risk in order to protect that person. That's what the media and what these protesters would like for us to do, is what it sounds like to me. So, you know, and that just doesn't make any sense. Like, why is it that people are supposed to just sit around and just hope and pray that nothing bad happens to them, when we see people like Jordan Neely in our personal space screaming, acting erotically, threatening people verbally? Why are we supposed to just sit there and just allow that to happen? Why is it so wrong for someone to jump into action and try to, you know, contain this person and call for help until somebody gets there? You know, so we really have to, you know, ask those hard questions. You know, why do we not want to have those conversations about what happened to Jordan Neely before the day of his untimely death? What happened to him? How was he allowed on the streets? And what could have been done to prevent him from being in that situation? Because I firmly believe that had Jordan Neely been in a prison or in a mental hospital where he belonged in either one of those situations, had he been there, he would probably still be alive today. When you leave people who have these mental illnesses that severe, and when, you know, they are just known to just behave erotically, when you have those people, it is only a matter of time before they harm themselves, or before they harm somebody else, or before they delete themselves, before they delete somebody else. It's only a matter of time. Like, it's not about, you know, who's gonna do it. It's just when is it going to happen? So, you know, we have to stop being so quick to rush into the racism narrative and actually take a look at what is going on, because I think that until we do that, we're gonna just keep seeing these stories happen over and over and over again. So that's all I have on this one. You know, we'll touch on this again at a later video. But until next time, bye.